Hey guys, here's your guys' homework number 33, graphing polynomial functions, but now you guys have to factor, okay? So for number one, first let's factor this out, you guys, so we can take out an x from each term. So we're going to get x squared minus 13x plus 40. Now, this is an a is equals to 1 case trinomial, so you guys are going to factor this using x method, 40, negative 13. The two numbers are negative 8 and negative 5. So, and since it's a is equals to 1, you guys, you just use these two side numbers, x minus 8 times x minus 5. So our 0 for this one, you guys, is 0. For this one, x equals 8, and for this one, x is equal to 5. So x equals 0, x equals 8, and x is equals to 5. Now, if you guys look at all the degrees, degree of 1, 1, 1. So all of those is going to be multiplicity of 1. That's solely based off of the power or degree of each factor. And then if it's multiplicity of 1s, you guys, you know when you graph these, they're going to cross at those zeros. Find the degree. Highest degree is 3. Leading coefficient of this is 1. And behavior, the leading coefficient is positive. The degree is odd. So positive odd, that's down and then up. And the y-intercept, if you guys set x equals to 0, all of those will be 0. So let's graph this. And behavior, down, up. Plot your zeros. 1 at x equals 0, 1 at 5, and 1 at 8. I should probably scooch this over. Okay, so we know at each 0 it's going to cross. So that is the action or the interaction that this graph has with each 0. So you guys approaching x is equals to 0. It's going to cross. So it's just going to go right through it. Now you got to turn it to approach the next 0. At this one, it's also going to cross, you guys. So you just go right through it. And then lastly, we got to curve it so that it approaches the 8, 0. And then that just goes right through that for a cross. So there's your guys' graph for number 1. Number 2. Again, we got to get this in factor form to find our 0. So we can factor out a 5 from each, and we can take away an x squared. So we're going to get x squared minus 6x plus 8. And then this is another a is equals to 1 case, so we can factor this using x method. 8, negative 6, negative 2, and negative 4. So 5x squared times x minus 2 times x minus 4. So this one, you have 0 at x equals 0. This one, x is equals to 2. This one, x is equals to 4. So those are all our zeros. X equals 0, x equals 2, and x is equals to 4. Okay, so multiplicities, if you guys take a look for our x equals 0, this has a degree of 2. So for this one, it's multiplicity of 2. This one, degree is 1, so multiplicity of 1. That one's 1 as well, multiplicity of 1. So for x equals 0, we got a multiplicity of 2 because of the power of that factor. And then these two were multiplicities of 1. So if it's an even multiplicity, that is a bounce, you guys. If it's a multiplicity of 1, that's where we cross. So we got a bounce, cross, cross. Now degree, let's just use standard form, right? Highest degree is 4, leading coefficient's 5. Leading coefficient's positive, your guys' degree is even. Positive, even is up and up. And y-intercept, if you guys plug in 0 in for x, that's 0, 0. Okay, so now let's graph this. We know the left-hand side is up. we know the right hand side is up. And then graphing your guys' zeros, we got x equals 0, x equals 2, and x is equals to 4. And now let's see the interaction between each zero, right? So coming along here. Okay, at x equals 0, it's a bounce. So you guys, you bounce off of this 0. Like, bounce. Bounce off of it. Okay, and then you guys gonna curve it so that we can interact with the 0 at x equals 2. And at x equals 2, it was a cross. So cross, then come back up so that you can interact with the next 0 at x equals 4, which is a cross. So you just go right through it. And there's your guys' graph for that one. Next, number 3. So one thing you guys can factor out from each term is 16x to the 5th. You guys factor out a 16, so divide each by 16 and take away 5 x's from all. So x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, so this is an a is equals to 1 case, so you guys factor this trinomial. -2 and 1, so we're going to get 16x to the 5th, x minus 2 times x plus 1. That 0, 0. This one when x equals 2. This one when x equals -1. So x equals 0, x equals 2, and x equals -1. At x equals 0, it was a power of 5, so that's a multiplicity of 5. Which is a, oh, we'll just write all the multiplicities. And the other powers, you guys, are 1, 1. So multiplicity of 1, multiplicity of 1. So if it's multiplicity of 5, you guys, if it's an odd multiplicity besides 1, it slides. And then multiplicity of 1, you guys, those are going to cross. So the degree is 7, the leading coefficient 16. So you guys have a leading coefficient that's positive and a degree that is odd. Down and then up. And the y-intercept is 0, 0. Okay, so now we can graph. We can start graphing. So we got down and then up. And then our zeros were that x equals 0, x equals 2, and x equals -1. So let's begin this graph. Okay, at -1, so when we approach -1, you guys, it crosses. It crosses. So just cross right through it. Just go right through it. Now, when we curve it so that it approaches 0, that is a slide, you guys. So when it approaches 0, you guys, it's gonna slide. Okay. And then go down and then curve it back up so it can interact with our next 0. And at x equals 2, you guys, it crosses. So it's gonna cross. And there you guys go. Number 4. So we can factor out a -2x to the 4th power. So divide each by -2, you guys, and take away 4 x's from all. So you guys get x squared plus 3x minus, what is that, 18. And then this is another a is equals to 1 case. So you guys factor this, -18 and 3, 6 and -3. So we're going to get -2x to the 4th times x plus 6 times x minus 3. So this one, x has to equal to 0 to make that 0. X equals -6 and x is equals to 3. Okay. So now we put the zeros down. X equals 0, x equals -6, and x is equals to 3. So what are your guys' multiplicities? Well, for this one, the degree was 4, so it's multiplicity of 4. And both of these have multiplicity degrees of 1, so multiplicity is of 1s for both of those. Okay, so multiplicity of 4, you guys, that's an even multiplicity, so it bounces, and the multiplicity of 1s, it's gonna cross. Okay, so find the degree. Highest degree from standard form, you guys, is 6. The leading coefficient is -2. It is a negative leading coefficient with an even degree. So it's down, down. Y-intercept, still 0, 0. So let's plot everything. Zeros, x equals 0, x equals -6, and x is equals to 3. So at x equals -6, you guys, it does a cross. You're going to cross right through it. So just go through it. Curve it so that it can interact with x equals 0, and that's where it's going to bounce. So you guys, it's going to bounce right off of there. And then curve it back down so we can interact with x equals 3, which it will cross. And there is your guys' graph for that one. Number 5. So factor, so we can find our zeros. So you guys can divide all of them by 2, and you can take away an x from each. So 2x squared plus 5x plus 2. Now this is a is greater than 1 case, you guys. That coefficient is greater than 1. So you guys gotta factor using x method and grouping. 4, 5. So 4 and 1. So when you guys grouped, you guys gotta use these, right? So 2x squared plus 4x plus x plus 2. Group. Factor out of 2x to get x plus 2. Factor out of 1, you guys, to get x plus 2. So our factors are 2x plus 1 times x plus 2. Please don't forget the factor of 2x that we did in the very beginning. Okay, now let's find our zeros. Our zeros for this one is when x equals 0. This one, when x equals -2. Now this one, you guys, you can't say -1, because if you plug -1 into there, you guys, you'll get -2 plus 1, which is -1, which is clearly not 0. So what do you have to do? What you gotta do is you gotta set the whole factor equals to 0 to solve for this x. So subtract 1 to both sides, divide both by 2, so x is gonna equals to -1/2. So 0, x equals -1/2, and x is equals to 2. Those are your guys' zeros. And then all of these, you guys, have a multiplicity of 1, because all their powers are 1. And if they're all multiplicities of 1, you guys, then the interaction that happens when you approach all these zeros is cross. Cross, 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 because they're all multiplicity of 1. Degree, it's 3. Leading coefficient's 4, and the end behavior, you guys, it's positive, and the degree is odd. Positive odd is down up, and the y-intercept is still 0, 0. Okay, so let's graph this. So down, up, x equals 0, x equals 1/2, -1/2, you guys, that is -0.5. So that's going to be really close to 0. Here, I'll separate these. And then at 2. And now it's time to graph. So start from the left. When we're approaching -1/2, you guys, that's like -0.5. It crosses. When it interacts with 0, you guys, it crosses. And when it interacts with x equals 2, you guys, it crosses. So you just go right through them. And that should be your guys' graph for that one. And then lastly, number 6. So from each term, you guys can factor out a negative 6x to the 5th power. So divide each by negative, oh no, we can't. Sorry. We can divide each one by negative 2, x to the 5th. So divide each one by negative 2 and take away 5 x's from all. So 3x squared minus 8x plus 4, and that's it. Now again, the leading coefficient, guys, is an a is greater than 1 case. So we got a x method, and then we group. So 3x, so right, these 4 terms, you guys, 3x squared minus 6x minus 2x plus 4. Group. Factor out a 3x to get x minus 2. Factor out a negative 2 to get x minus 2. 3x minus 2 times x minus 2. Bring this along to get negative 2x to the 5th. So this 0, x equals 0. This one, x equals 2. This one, you guys have to set that equals to 0 and solve. Add 2 to both sides. Divide both sides by 3. X is equals to 2/3. Degree, look at the original. It's 7. Leading coefficient's negative 6. So leading coefficient's negative, and your guys' degree is odd. Negative odd is down and then up. And y-intercept 0, 0. Okay, so we got an x equals 0, 1. We got x equals 2/3, and we got x is equals to 2. And the multiplicity at 0 was 5, because you guys look at the degree, which was 5, and the other degrees, you guys, were 1. If you guys look, power of 1, power of 1. Okay, so it's a 5th degree, so that's an odd, so that slides, and then if it's 1, you guys, and that means it's going to be crosses. So now you guys graph. Up, down. We got x equals 0. X equals 2/3, you guys, it's like 0.66, so like right there. And we got x equals 2, which is right there. So let's graph. Now when we approach the line x equals 0, you guys, it slides. So gonna go up to it, slide, and then go down. And then we gotta approach 2/3, you guys, which is multiplicity of 1, which is you're gonna cross, and then at 2 you're gonna cross. And then that will be your guys' graph for this one. So again, keep on practicing your guys' graphing and factoring and finding your zeros and all your guys' characteristics, okay? Good luck, everyone. Peace.